you're right on time for the news review right here on Citizen TV. This is indeed the Power Breakfast. And to help us take a look at the headlines this morning, we have Barak Muluka, political analyst, on my right. On my left, Chris Wamalwa, MP for Kiminini, and next to him, Jogu Barua, MP for Gishugu. Now, to help us understand who exactly these panelists are. Now, Bwana Muluka is, of course, a political analyst who feels that Raila Odinga should actually make friends instead of foes in his quest for power.
Absolutely.
He's also waiting for an apology from Raila Odinga because he accuses the ODM leader of insulting him in his own backyard.
Yes. Of all the places.
Yeah.
A good town of Aminia.
And you feel that Raila Odinga is making too many enemies, fighting Jubilee, the African Union, the World Bank, leaders in the East African region, the National Intelligence Service, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the media, Emmanuelians, and God knows who else.
Yes. And that's not what you do when you want to become president. You make friends.
Yes. Now that is Barak Muluka. Bwana Wamalwa. He's the one that went to Rio, even without leaving the country.
Yeah.
Yes? He's a diehard supporter of Moses Wetangula and Fort Kenya, but he's never afraid to tell off his party when need be.
Yes.
He also wants to be governor for Trans Nzoia, and he can throw a punch or two to prove that. Be careful.
He's also my MP.
Yes.
Because among other things is...
from Harvard.
Yes. He's also just landed from Harvard in the United States. He'll be telling us exactly what he was doing there. And of course, Bwana Barua, he has criticized his Kirinyaga governor Joseph Ndavi for his move to open a Jubilee Party office in Kutus town recently.
Yes, yes.
Is it that he's worried that the governor is assuming more power in the larger Kirinyaga?
I think he's losing it.
Does he fear he's being rendered irrelevant if he is not seen to be the Jubilee point man in that region?
I told him.
Will he therefore just go ahead and open another Jubilee office in Kirinyaga just to prove a point?
No.
That is a panelist as we go along. We're hoping, of course, Bwana David Ochieng, the MP for Ugenya, will join us later. But let's take a quick look at the headlines this morning. And the Standard has, because we're heading towards national exams, and because of that, of course, matters education come into focus. And we do have this headline on the Standard: new bill clips council powers on KCPE and KCSE. Exactly what the Kenya National Examinations Council can do during that examination in terms of management of the exams. Now, of course, that's a story that you need to read on the Standard. It is on the front page of the Standard. On the Daily Nation, the headline also has to do with education. Teachers say to their Teacher Service Commission, give us new deal. Secondary school tutors demand enhanced allowances and doubling of basic salary ahead of talks. President had directed that talks be concluded by end of October so that money can be put in next year's budget. The other headline on the Star, of course, this is a political newspaper. So the headline is, Wetangula denies he is leaving CORD. Of course, we'll be discussing this particular headline in a short while. Some ODM leaders say that Wetangula is actually being funded by Jubilee. Is he? We have a Fort Kenya member here, and he'll be telling us a lot more about that. But now I want us to start with a very interesting and positive story that is there on the top of the Daily Nation. The strip at the very top of the Daily Nation.
Yes, I mean, Abdallah.
The Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, that's CS Aminia Mohammed, nominated for top AU job. Now, yesterday at State House, Nairobi, President Kenyatta just, he revealed, he was not making a formal announcement, he just revealed as he spoke, that Kenya had forwarded the CS's name for consideration in the race to succeed Dlamini Zuma as African Union Commission Chair. Now, Bwana Muluka, this is definitely an endorsement of CS Aminia Mohammed's work. Do you think it's that she deserves such kind of an applause?
I think CS Aminia Mohammed has had a very illustrious tour of duty within the foreign docket, within the international docket, within the United Nations system, and as CS in charge of foreign and international affairs, she's done a wonderful job placing our country on the map for the right reasons. And we are aware, of course, about the stalemate in Kigali earlier in the year when the AU could not elect somebody to represent the current chair, Zuma, Dlamini Zuma of South Africa. And I do think that she fits the bill squarely. I would be looking forward very keenly to 30 January next year, when this matter comes up in Addis, and I do hope that she becomes the new chair.
Yes, and of course, by Chris Ombalo, the CS Aminia Mohammed has been described as the only man in President Uhuru Kenyatta's cabinet. Do you agree with that?
Personally, I do agree with that, and I want to confirm that in Parliament I sit in the Committee of Defense and Foreign Relations, whereby we oversight and help that ministry in terms of its budget appropriation and budget planning. So I want to say that Aminia has done very well, and of course she fits that bill very well. And even when it comes to matters of ICC, ICC issues were successful. The president is where he is, the deputy, because of the diplomacy that Aminia Mohammed had put in place. Unfortunately, when I was away, I read about the EPA, the Export Partnership Agreement, which I'm told Tanzania did not sign. It's only Kenya and Rwanda. But so far, particularly when it comes to issues of economic diplomacy, Aminia Mohammed has done very well, and I have no doubt that she's going to do well, and she's going to represent the country very well, and we do pray for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Njogu Barua, coming from a Jubilee member of the Jubilee Party, now clearly when this you hear even people from the opposition actually endorsing and applauding a member of President Uhuru Kenyatta's cabinet. That's definitely, it's an endorsement of the whole government, isn't it?
I think they should actually endorse it because the government is working well. So I'm not surprised of the endorsement.
But they don't keep mentioning other cabinet secretaries.
Yeah. I think that I'm saying I'm not surprised they're actually endorsing Aminia Mohammed first, just because first the government is working. But I think in the endorsement, I suspect they never put any party consideration.
Yes.
They look at Aminia Mohammed as a person. I think, in my own opinion, and the opinion of the many, Aminia Mohammed has done her work very competently. And in fact, I've not had any complaints from any sector about her performance. She has guided Kenya very well in various missions in the United Nations. She has been working in the UN for a long time. And in fact, she has been mentioned before as a possible replacement for Ban Ki-moon. So for President Uhuru Kenyatta, nominating and endorsing her, to me, is a very positive attribute. And I hope one time she's going to replace Ban Ki-moon as UN Secretary General.
As the UN Secretary General.
Yes, and
yes, but away from that, I think this thing of referring to her as the only man in the cabinet is a slur on what women are doing and what women can do. The assumption that if you do well, you must be a man is one that requires to be debunked, and we should look at her as Kenyan who is doing very well. Gender issues not with standing. I don't also want to agree with Barua that we endorse each and everything that's happening in government. With things like NYS have been there, things like Eurobond, are things which somebody is wishing away and which cannot be allowed to go away, and the other areas of weakness which we must accept. That notwithstanding, I think we must acknowledge when people like Ambassador Aminia Mohammed do a sterling job, and we must celebrate and wish that everybody else could perform in that manner.
Yes, I think I also want to add to what Barak is saying, that we are not talking about specific activities of the government. We are talking about the overall average performance of Uhuru Kenyatta government, which is actually scoring above B+. If there are 2 or 3 pitfalls,
those are subjective analysis.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
so you cannot go with that.
So when you give a score, like a student, you don't, even if a student gets an A in maths and E in others, he or she does not pass.
So you are saying there are some E's.
No, I'm not saying there are E's. I'm giving an example here. There are no E's, but in fact the worst you can get in any doctorate in Kenya in the government is a C+. So you are doing very well. So what you are talking about, performance of Kenya government, the performance of government is an average performance across the sector. Well. But Aminia Mohammed herself to me, she has scored an A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, the president has revealed that he has forwarded Aminia Mohamed's name and exuded confidence that she will carry the day in the January 2017 elections. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Of course, we wish her well when those elections do come. Let's now move on to not very positive matters, which may involve Kirinyaga County, among others. And we are very privileged to have the MP for Gishogo, which is in Kirinyaga, to tell us exactly what's happening there, because on the page 5 of the Standard, this story is across board. We even have it on Citizen TV. I think if my director can help me, we even have this story on citizentv.co.ke. Nandi and Kirinyaga counties are the most biased counties in hiring. Now, an integration agency has exposed Nandi and Kirinyaga county assemblies as the most tribalistic. Yes, as you can see there on the screen, that's page 5 of the Standard. And in its report, the NCIC has revealed that that most of the counties hire individuals from the dominant ethnic groups in their regions. Yeah, the report found that only 13 county assemblies have recruited at least 30% of their employees from the non-dominant ethnic groups, with about 34 assemblies have employed more than 70% of one dominant ethnic groups. Now, 2 assemblies, Kirinyaga and Nandi, have recruited only one ethnic group in the entire assembly workforce.
Yeah.
Bwana Njogu Barua.
Yes, I was hoping Bara could start on
No, you have to start with you.
The last.
But I think, to me, that's an indictment in our county government.
I know you're not very good friends probably with the governor.
I think the governor is my good friend.
Yes.
But in most cases we differ on political opinions, because I don't think we can lead from the same script, because I don't support such an initiative. I don't want to really shoot my county government just for whatever it is. But I'm saying this scenario is actually, I would say, the true position. I don't know how many people from outside Kikuyu community who are working for Kirinyaga County, but I suspect there could be none. We also are saying that as I am on my tour of duty in my constituency, we are trying to get people engage each other. That is the county government leadership with other national leadership. It has not been possible. So far, as we start now, the governor has never convened a meeting of Kirinyaga county leaders. So the issues that we have, the issues that the local communities do have for the county government, they still remain unsolved.
Are you saying that something like this, you had already noticed it, that the leaders in Kirinyaga, apart from those within the county government, had already seen that there was a problem in terms of staffing in the county assembly and
I
county
think
government?
you had seen there's a lot of problem, and there was a problem with that case of staffing, and it is not just the question of an ethnic community. That is even too broad when you talk about Kirinyaga County. It's not ethnic, it's not Kikuyu anymore. It's not even Kirinyaga. It's even a small and narrow circle that has actually dominated all the positions in that county government leadership. And I'm willing to be challenged to prove this. And I'm saying that this should change. And last week, the first time I came openly against the position of the governor of Kirinyaga is when he and a few people convened a meeting at Kutus, a meeting of friends, to do an election of Jubilee Party. You see now, Sam Ibaraka told me a long time before, and that's why he's laughing here. So actually what he did, him and a few people, they met, a group of a few friends. In fact, some of the people who are elected to join the party positions are actually workers of the county government. Someone like the Secretary General, purported Secretary General of the Kirinyaga branch of Jubilee, is actually the chairman of Rika Rises in body in Kirinyaga. I mean, that is a fallacy of the whole thing.
Okay.
So I think I agree with this outcome, and something must be done to ensure this one does not continue. Because it's continue, it's going to be a bad example for the whole country, and some people within Kirinyaga County will continue to be marginalized.
Yes, of course, according to the law, no county government or assembly should employ more than
70%.
70 or 70%?
More than 70%.
More than 70% from one ethnic group.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Are you having the same problem in Trans Nzoia?
First and foremost, I want to say that this matter, it seems it cuts across the board. And when you look at the County Government Act, you can only employ 70% max within. That means 30% must come from outside.
70% is a huge number.
Absolutely.
And
there's no way. I was listening today morning to the governor of Kirinyaga when I was just driving here. He was saying he inherited that staff, which is not true. Because we have chief officers, we have the county executive officers. These are people who are employed at his regime. And it should reflect actually the general staff, the way it's arranged. So he cannot come and purport that this issue he inherited. In any case, the buck stops at him. He's supposed to have looked at the law and tried to rectify. Of course, such an issue about Trans Nzoia, I didn't know that these things cuts across. Even our governor of Trans Nzoia, when he is members of parliament, he wants to run away. Right now, the county government of Trans Nzoia has been operating without two executive officers who had left. He's very indecisive. Look, like the former who left, and I think it was agriculture, and you have I think in finance, who was involved in the corruption scandals. He was told to step aside, but the governor is indecisive. He can't make a decision so that you can have these positions filled. Instead, some people are acting on two functions. Yes. So really, this is a matter that is cutting across, it seems, the entire county government and the devolution. And maybe when it comes to elections, we are calling upon the Kenyans to watch, so that when that time comes, they should be able to be asked, what did the governors do? I'm seeing him waking up right now, looking for tractors, looking for things to do the roads, and all the 4 years he's been sleeping on the job. It's like somebody, a student who is about to do the exam, he's been number last all through 1, 2, 3 up to standard 8. So the final year is when you start revising. Do you pass that exam?
But look, of course, these politicians, you've noticed the very first gone into attacking their governors, even moving away from the matter at hand. Yes.
Yeah, I think
because even that's what Njogu Borua did, and Amalo has done the same. But now, because you had your chance,
something small. We are not actually attacking our governors. We are saying what it is. We are elected to represent our people. We cannot bury our head in the sand when things are going wrong. But what I would like to echo, what Honorable Chris is talking about. If Governor of Kirinyaga inherited this problem, let him prove that the people who are employing during his tenure in office meet the threshold of 30%. If he can prove that, you can believe him. But now, it doesn't. It's not the case. So whatever he's saying, it does not add up.
We're looking for an objective opinion, because now this whole devolution was something very positive, and we expected that it would come with a lot of good things for this country. But we're seeing now, like, devolution is heading towards entrenching tribalism even more.
I think one of the things we have done is to devolve some of our worst habits. That if negative ethnicity has been a problem at the national level, we are seeing it cascaded to the devolved level. And that ultimately it's not even just negative ethnicity, it is cronyism. That the person who is there is looking for people who are his friends, that they are bringing in an element of nepotism. There are people who are from the family, and it's all because they are there not to serve, but to loot. And no, when you want to loot, you bring in people you can trust. We have discussed here before, and each time we use the word prebendalism, people get mesmerized with the word rather than interrogating what this whole notion of prebendalism. Our professor here, these two gentlemen are scholars. They understand very well this notion of people being in government not to serve, but to enrich themselves at the expense of the public. And when you get there, you make sure that you have got the right people, or the wrong people for that matter, but from where you are, the right people in charge of the treasury, even at that local devolved level. They are the people who are going to manage your finances. Then you have got the right people who are going to be in procurement, that they are going to ensure that the tenders go to the right people, and that the supplies, even when nothing is supplied, are made by the right people. I think you have got the right people who are also auditing. And today at that level, we have got MCAs, and we see that virtually everyone wants to become an MCA. Bankers want to leave their jobs in banking to become MCAs. Teachers want to become MCAs. Lawyers
senators want to become
MCAs. Because it is a gravy train. And Kirinyaga may just be the headquarters of negative ethnicity. Mount Kenya also sits there in Kirinyaga, which is the headquarters of negative ethnicity. But it's a national disease. It's a national ailment that we have everywhere. Starting with the national government. You look at the national government and you see that it's a political-economic duopoly, that you have got these two tribes where the people who are at the top are ensuring that the right boys are in the right place for the right reasons. And those right reasons is self-enrichment from the public coffers.
Okay. But now, still on that, and because I want us to wrap up this before we take a break, there's also the other aspect of some counties having tribal names, and that making other people who are probably interested in working for those counties or living in those counties to feel sidelined. Of course, a county like Nairobi is okay. A county like Kisumu is okay because Kisumu is not a tribe. But you see a county like Meru County, where Meru represents a particular community, Embu County. That also has a problem, and it's been captured on page 3 of the Daily Nation, that counties with tribal names make others feel sidelined. Do you think that that is a problem, and probably we should work on rectifying it? That probably we should have neutral names instead of having, we can have names of places instead of having names that represent communities.
I think it will add some value if you can have some neutral names representing counties. I think what happened in the constitutional making in 2010, they just adopted counties as they were actually named at a particular time. And they should go to the next level and say, okay, now can you look at the names of these counties? Even when you are doing something like SACCOs, you are registering a SACCO. I think it's against the SACCO laws to register a SACCO based on some political or boundaries of some kind. Generally, when you look at the country like Meru, it's like these are place for Meru people. And the people from outside Meru may also find it difficult to live there or to find their comfort there. People from Meru also will get this notion that is ours. I think the time has come for us to know that Kenya belongs to all of us. Any Kenyans can live anywhere. I can move from here to Manyuri and live there. And I hope Barack Muruka will not chase me out.
Oh, we are very welcome.
And I'm lucky as well welcome. You can welcome to the show.
So just don't insult anyone.
Just don't abuse us.
I will not abuse you like your friend Raila Odinga. But I'm saying I also agree these tribal names or these tribal names should be removed from names of counties. When you come to Kirinyaga County, Barack has said that it's the headquarters of negative ethnicity. I think I should not take it negatively, but what I'll tell my people of Kirinyaga is the time has come to do thick stock and know where we are. The time has come for us to move on and cleanse that perception and put Kirinyaga in the Kenyan map in a positive way.
I think to me that issue is insignificant. Insignificant in the sense that when you look at most of these names, they have some historical significance. For instance, if you go to Meru, they've been called Meru since time immemorial. And maybe 95–99% of the people who live there, they are the Meru people. So when you start now changing, you'll be opening another Pandora's box. Just look at the headquarters. When these counties were being created, we've had issues of county headquarters, just Kiambu here. The issue of Kiambu and Thika, we've had also in Kirinyaga, having Kutus and the other center, and Kerugoya. So to me, I think the issue of the name is actually insignificant. Because even when you look at the constituencies, we have Kikuyu constituency, represented by the Kikuyu people, and they're happy about this. I think what you need to look at, much that we want to drive the issue of looking at the national aspect, we need to look at how significant is that issue. If it was an issue of Meru being in a cosmopolitan constituency like or county like Nairobi, Yes. When you go to Meru, what percentage are the Meru people? About more than 95%. So to me, I really don't think the issue of the name should be an issue to look at here. What is there is the law, and the governors who are the presidents of those respective governments, which must ensure that the law has been followed to the letter, to ensure that the 30% of the employees are coming from outside.
Yes.
In case for issue like Ndazi, the one of Kirinyaga, when such a matter comes up, they can bring that matter in Parliament and they can pass a law to be able to go and put strategies in place to adhere to the law, because that's not his wish. And as you mentioned earlier, these counties, it is true, some are just cascading tribalism, but the worst of all, they are cascading corruption. Corruption is the in thing. This is the problem. They are finding that this is their time to eat. If you find something like a hospital in Trans Nzoia, which was bought at 25 million, and yet you go and sell it at 185 million. To me, this is impunity, this is corruption, and this is why we are calling upon the ESCC and the Auditor General to move there with speed. I can tell you this thing is...
And you're already back to Trans Nzoia, Of course, you've seen that the county being called Kakamega County does not really help. The issues are the same.
You see, if you go to Kakamega, you will find that there are people whom in Luyaland we actually call Vakakamega. And the Vakakamega would be the Idaho and Isuha people. So that in a manner of speaking, every name has got certain cultural and ethnic significance. That when we talk about Kirinyaga, it's not such a neutral name. It has got something to do with what the Gikuyu would call Mwenenyaga, and then it's got the mountain.
Actually, the mountain itself.
The mountain itself. Which has got that ethnic significance. Nairobi here, the name Nairobi has got Maasai origins. That if you look at Mombasa, it has got something to do with the Mwambao and the indigenes of that region. That if you go to Bungoma, there are some people who have argued that there was once such a community as the Bungomek. And I know that that remains in the controversial domain. That eventually all names have got that significance. But go back to Meru. Then you look at the dynamics in Meru. You will find that there is this tug of war between the Imentis, the Chogorias, the Chukas, the Nyambenes, the Gembes, that eventually this malaise finds itself right at the local level. You go to Kakamega, you will find that there are people who are saying that within this Kakamega we have got about 8 different sub-ethnicities, and they are looking at the distribution of opportunities within the county. You go to Kisii, it is the same. So eventually it's a question of how we train ourselves, how we are trained. And I think the worst exhibition of this for me has been what happened in Uasin Gishu the other day, when we had a governor who abandons what he's supposed to be doing and becomes a campaigner for ethnic merchandise within the highest institution of learning within that locality. And it was not one governor, it was a number of governors, and they were accompanied by legislators from the National Assembly, and they are given a heroic welcome for doing this what I may just want to call a primitive demonstration.
Yes, in a short while, we will come back to discuss a lot more, including that after the short break. But mainly after the break that we're going to have, we'll be going to politics, of course. We're already in the second hour of the show. And we'll be discussing the bid to impeach Governor Kidero, which is still on. ODM defending its rallies, Wetangula saying he's not leaving CORD. We've learned that he's bought a chopper and wants Raila to step doun for him. And of course, Aden Duale has said that if at all Raila Odinga picks Hassan Joho as his running mate, he will fall and break his skull. Yes, Olago Alwatch is back at ODM after leaving Fort Kenya. I don't know what dynamics those are. And Jubilee Party has been sued for their party slogan. Tuko pamoja apparently does not belong to them. These and more after this short break.